something good.
All right, there is an attraction here in Connecticut that is a must-see this time of year. It's the Witch's Dungeon Classic Movie Museum on display at the Bristol Historical Society.
It actually got started in 1966 when its originator was only 13 years old. Today, it has certainly stood the test of time, and it's only gotten better with each passing year.
If you're looking to get into the spirit of the season, this could just be the place for you and your family. Take a look.
Welcome, poor mortal, to this witch's dungeon of nightmares. Beware and gather up all your courage, for we are about to begin.
Yes, we're about to begin our visit here at the Witch's Dungeon Classic Movie Museum. Meet the man who started it all in 1966 when he was just 13 years old, Cortland Hull.
Hi, how are you? You rang? I rang. I'm here at the Bristol Historical Society, and we are at the home of the Witch's Dungeon.
That's right, and the name comes from my creation, Zenobia the Gypsy Witch, and that's why it's named the Witch's Dungeon after
did not
her.
know that. It's named after her, and this is your own creation.
She's my own creation.
Okay. What are people going to see here?
Well, they're going to see recreations of the classic movie monsters, sort of like Madame Tussauds, but all on the classic films of Boris Karloff, Vincent Price, Bela Lugosi, and Lon Chaney. And each is in a scene based on that movie that they were from.
So people are not going to, they might get a little spooked when they come here, but they're not going to get scared out of their wits. Nobody's coming out of the
we don't
woodworks.
chase you with chainsaws.
Are you ready to take a peek?
In we go to the Witch's Dungeon Museum. Won't you follow us along? Follow me. Follow him.
The first creature we see, this handsome fella.
This is the Mole People from 1950s film that starred John Agar, and these creatures were from the deep past. They lived underground in caves, and they were mutations.
They certainly were.
And then over here we have the creature from the Black Lagoon from the 1954 classic film. He was originally from the Devonian age, but somehow survived through it, and his talons could rip a man to shreds.
Who's made these amazing creatures?
Well, many of them I've made. In this case with the creature is actually cast from the original parts of the creature costume that was used in the film.
Next up is Dracula.
This little model here was one of the Aurora model kits from the 1960s that I built as a little kid. And I loved doing these models. The only trouble was they're only about 8 inches tall. You can't be frightened of something that's 8 inches tall. So I wanted them life-size. So here we have the full-size Bela Lugosi as Count Dracula, right down to the accurate medallion on his chest and the Dracula ring.
Across from the Count is what I think to be one of the more horrifying figures in this exhibit.
This scares me to no end.
I know, he does have an unnerving effect. This was the Fly, and he was trapped in a teleportation device of his own that he created, and there was a fly that was in the device with him. So his atoms became fused with those of the common housefly when he tried to teleport himself.
Next up, a character that's very special to Cortland.
This character is very special to me because this was my great-uncle, Henry Hull, who was the original werewolf in The Werewolf of London. That was 1935. That was 6 years before Lon Chaney Jr. became the Wolfman.
Is that what got you interested in this?
Yes, in a way, because of the fact that Henry saw the interest that I had in these classic films, and it was mainly because of the makeup in them that I was so excited about these films. And so he took me and introduced me to a lot of makeup artists and effects people, which is how I learned how to make some of these figures.
Just a few feet away from the werewolf, a character named Frankenstein.
Boris Karloff is probably the best known for playing the Frankenstein monster, and that was in the original film in 1931. And of course, he was made from various parts of dead bodies that were sewn together. As you can see, some sewing on the wrist there. And he was revived through electricity, and he had the strength of 10 men.
Cortland, I think his brain is abnormal.
I think he's got it in a jar right here.
Oh!
Ready to see a real beauty?
This is Jean Marais, who appeared in the original Beauty and the Beast called La Belle et la Bête, which was made in France in 1946. And as you can see, the makeup was very intricate in that film, as well as the costuming. So this took 4 artists plus myself to really recreate it because of the detail in the costuming, the jewelry, and the hair work.
There's so much more to see. The mummies, the Wolfmen, the Phantom of the Opera. So come on in and check it out.
Ah, there you are. I see you have survived this maze of monsters and nightmares. Or have you? And so until we meet again, good night and pleasant dreams.
I love it. You know, I love that you can get a little spooky, but you learn too.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You can go to preservehollywood.org for more information. Thank you, Cortland. Great job.